I guess on my hair, she look all right. And with that actually sitting there like this creams, and I had to have them, sis. All 5 of them. Here, I just had, we're gonna discontinue it, but I had to pick up their book of shadows, honey. Color grade makes cheap fan, expensive breeze, good times. Wow, so serious. What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's Torrence here, and in today's video, we're doing something exciting, honey. I finally received PR from one of my favorite brands, Adept Cosmetics. I'll let you all know about that, and I'm telling you, I think you all were just excited as I am. And as someone who was completely shocked and grateful to receive PR, I decided, you know what, Torrence, let's step things up. Instead of doing one look today, we're bringing you 2. Baby, I ain't never did 2 looks, 1 palette in 1 video, because I'm like, you could split that up into 2 separate videos. But I wanted to show you all the versatility of this palette, and I also wanted to show Adept Cosmetics as well as heatheraustin that I am thankful for the opportunity to receive this palette. But make sure you stay tuned after the tutorials, because I do have a giveaway going on. At the end of this video, you'll find out how you can win your own heatheraustin palette. So with nothing else, let's go ahead and get into these swatches before we jump into the tutorials. First off, let's get into this beautiful packaging. This is traditional for Adept Cosmetics, and that's something heatheraustin said she wanted to do, is just keep it nice, beautiful, and simple, and true to the brand, but she did want something customized, so she did get this purple color, as well as have her name stamped on the outside. On the inside, there is a beautiful mirror, and it does have heatheraustin and Adept Cosmetics etched on it, but I didn't want to blind you with it. But before we got into swatches, I wanted to show you all what the 12 shades look like before I actually started to swatch them. It appears we have 4 mattes and 8 metallics. This is a beautiful color story. You all know that greens are my absolute favorites. And not only do we have metallics, we also have some multi-chromes. So let's go ahead and get into those swatches. Hunty, hunty, hunty. Look at this. When I tell you, looking at them in the pan does not give them justice. Look at the way these shift in the light. Oh my goodness, honey. The color shift, the pigmentation, the smoothness of these shadows is phenomenal, and I cannot wait to get into these. So with no further ado, let's hurry up and get into this tutorial. Oh my goodness, you guys. It feels so good to be back on camera. I am prepared, honey. Clean brushes, natural and synthetic on deck, ready to go, honey. This is my first tutorial since I've been gone for about a month. I am ready. The only thing I was not prepared for, that extra exfoliation I did last night. The skin right here, baby, is a little dry. I'm not sure if you all can see that on camera, but I want to put that out there just in case I get a little patchiness from my mattes. I know to blame that on myself, but we've been talking long enough, honey. We about to hurry up and get into this Adept Cosmetics and heatheraustin palette. One, I was so grateful for the opportunity to receive this palette that I knew for sure I was going to do a video, but because I'm coming to y'all so late, we're going to go ahead and switch it up and make it 2 looks. So today, we're going to go in with our first look. I'm not sure exactly what we going to do, because I know for sure I want to try to use all 12 shades between these 2 looks. So what we're going to do is just say, Torrence, just go for it. Just get 6 on the eye for this first look, and we'll go from there. So, because I know I like to go from lightest to darkest with my blending, we're going to start off with this first shade here, Atlas, on our largest, fluffiest blending brush, and we're going to use that as a transition shade. And Adept Cosmetics comes with the pigment, and I know I can go back in and build up later, so we're going to just knock off that excess. Start on the lowest part of the crease and build and work our way up. But baby, even on my complexion, y'all can see that is coming straight through, honey. I can see that color, and she is beautiful. She's not coming off as just a basic brown though, which is what I'm loving, because we already have that in our collection. And I think just for my personal complexion, I would like to go in with one more layer just to see how, you know, deep this can get. But as you can see, that blend is beautiful. Okay, we're gonna go in and get a little bit more and see what kind of pigmentation we can get. This time I don't mind lifting my brush up a little higher just to help diffuse those edges. Okay, and I can see that any area that was not completely opaque is now. The blend is still nice and soft and beautiful. I'm just trying my hardest to make sure these outer ends are buffed out before we go in with our next color. Honey, that almost looked like my skin tone, don't it? Be right back after we do this on the other side. Now that we have a beautiful transition, we're going to go in and deepen up the crease with a smaller blending brush in this shade here, PA02. And just like our previous shade Atlas, we're going to tap off the excess because we know Adept comes with pigmented shadows and I don't want to risk messing this up. And this shade here, PA02, looks like it has a berry undertone to it. And the last thing we want to do is smudge a purple around the eye and look like we got a bruise. So once again, we're going to start on the outer lowest point of the eye and just start to work our way up. You can see how even with a light layer of color on that brush, that pigmentation coming through, honey. You can see how a color like that could easily look like somebody hit me in the head. So we're going to go in with this first light layer just to make sure we don't have any harsh lines, any skipping or anything. And once that's diffused, going in with our second layer just to build up the pigmentation will be so much easier. I like the blend, so we're going to raise our brush just slightly to diffuse those edges, but not go over that shade Atlas. And as you can see, we can still see that first shade Atlas here, but now that purple's come through. She's beautiful, but she's not dark enough for my hooded lids. So I'm going to go in with one more layer. It's up to you on whether you want to tap your brush off on the second one. Just so I don't have a ton of fallout here, I'll go ahead and do so. But you're going to see how this layer builds up even more since we have that first one down. And you see how much darker she got? It's always best to build after you blend, if you ask me, just to make sure everything stays seamless and you have to work half as hard. Look at her, baby. Nice and deep and dark. And just because I, once again, have hooded eyes and we want things to be deep, I'm going to take this and just press it right here into the outer half. I'm not really worried about blending it because I want that color to be the deepest part. And I'm only just taking it about one brush head width across. When I go ahead and cut my crease, I can always shorten it, but I like it to be as wide as possible now. Okay, well now that we have that, we got to get that going on this side, so I'll be right back. Baby, now that our crease is nice and dark and deep, it's time to go ahead and cut it. I'm going to grab my NYX glitter primer, my Morphe M421 brush, put a little bit of this on the back of my hand, honey, and it's time to cut our crease nice and high. We got some shimmers to play with, and I want to make sure I got plenty of space for them. So, just going to slap on that primer and take this all the way up. I don't want to cover up that outer V work that I've done because that's the darkest part of the eye. But we definitely want to take this higher than our natural crease is. And once we get close to the outer V, blend that back down again. And I'll be back after I do this on the other side. Hunty, hunty, hunty. I am looking at these shades and I'm sitting back like, it is so many of them. They are all so pretty. I don't know which one to go for. But the two that are catching my eye to go with this purple look, I'm not gonna lie to y'all. First, we're gonna take this shade here. Hey y'all. We're gonna put this on the inner half. Then we're gonna come to this shade here, Scrubs. I think this was the one that's been grabbing my eye the most. Scrubs, we're gonna put this on the outer half of our eye, then we'll be back. But I got to get into those two first. Okay, first we're gonna go into this shade here. Hey y'all, and I have to be honest, this is giving me a little issue with picking it up with a natural hair brush. So we're gonna apply that first, and then we're gonna switch over and see if it works better with the silicone applicator. But we're just gonna put this on the front half. Oh yeah, I can look at the texture of that and tell that this is gonna be much, much better with the silicone applicator. So I'm gonna show you all what that looks like on the other eye. But just to give us an idea of what this looks like with 2 layers, with this brush, we're gonna go ahead and do the second. Oh yeah, that second layer, full opacity. Everything is beautiful, it's shiny, it builds up. But I want you all to see, this is what this looks like with 2 layers with a natural hair brush. Where's my silicone applicator? I want to see exactly what this same shade looks like with 1 layer. I have my Makeup Forever number 224 silicone applicator. More than likely you could use your fingers, but because I have nails that are really long, I find it rather difficult to get my fingers into a pan. I find doing the silicone applicator gives me the same effect of a finger without the mess. And watch this here. You see the shine and the impact that did with that 1 layer right there in that 1 spot? Oh yeah. So I'm gonna say with the shade Hey Y'all, it's much more creamy, and so you're more than likely gonna wanna use your finger or silicone applicator with that color. To me, I could probably take and bring this over just a little further, but it appears the shine level is very comparable to 1 layer with the silicone applicator over 2 layers with a brush. So it's up to you. I personally would still probably go with the brush because it'll give me a chance to build and blend. But baby, they both looking pretty. So on to the next color now. This shade here, I am just waiting on it because this looks like it is a multi-chrome, baby. And just taking it and swiping it right there across the eye, she already showing out. I feel as if also with this shade, you may get much more opacity with the silicone applicator. So we're gonna do the same thing on this side. I'm gonna do 2 layers on 1 side with the brush. Oh yeah, and that second layer is definitely where the shine is coming through, but you see that shift with the very first one. I'm going to bring it closer to the front to help diffuse that edge. I do not want a harsh line there. And I think even on camera you all can see that shift right there. Yes, ma'am. And now I have scrubs on the other side of my silicone applicator. Gonna come to this outer end. Oh yeah. It appears these purple shades are applying much, much better. Actually, with this multi-chrome, it's about the same. With that first shade, I'm gonna say the the shimmer went on better. With this multi-chrome, I'm gonna say they're about, yeah, even. I guess because I already knew to come in on this side with the silicone applicator. I knew it was going to automatically give me a high shine. But I will admit, blending your edges with a brush is much easier. So we're going to pick that back up and smooth this out. 'Cause baby, harsh line ain't cute. Okay, honey. Right now we just enjoying this nice little purple soft look. Or at least soft for me. But what I want to do is go ahead, cut away, finish off the face, and when I come back, I'm going to show you how we're going to finish off the lower lash line. Yes, honey, like a caterpillar to a chrysalis, I have emerged more colorful than ever before and ready to take on the world. But before we do that, I gotta let y'all know about some of these products we did off camera. This is just an eyeshadow tutorial, so I'll leave all tools and product shoes in the description bar below. But just in case you wanted to know what I was wearing, I wanted to go ahead and let you know. And I don't know what happened. While I was off camera, something just told me like, Torrence, go ahead and just play with some limited edition and discontinued stuff since you already got it. So I just started going through my collection like, what is it that we have that we don't use? For blush, the Marc Jacobs Air Blush. This is in the shade 508, Night Fever and Hot Stuff. You know they discontinued the brand, but I still have this one blush from them. I think it's beautiful. I just swirled it all the way across, went in because I wanted something that had a slight berry tone to it, but with this saying air blush, I wanted something nice and soft because I did not want this to look like a bruise. Same thing with highlighter. I'm like, okay, Torrence, we playing with purples. What do you have for a purple highlighter? The Becca, another company that's been gone now. This is the Light Chaser highlighter for eye and face. This is in the shade Amethyst Flashes Geode. Has a slight purple hue to it. And today I finally hit pan. And you can see that little dot right there, honey. I have been using this thing for years. And I ain't gonna lie, the main reason I was able to hit pan is because this is a powdery highlight. Every time your brush hits it, stuff's gonna go flying. You can't buy it anymore, but I have all 6. And you can see it gives just the slightest purple hue. I put it on as a highlighter, but then went on and put it on as a blush topper. But I still have some like right there on the forehead where it gives just the slightest purple hue. But I couldn't put too much of that on because once again, don't want to look like I'm bruised or anything. For the eyeliner on the lower lash line, my favorite purple eyeliner, Psychedelic Sister by Urban Decay. You can pick this up anytime. Mascara and mascara primer duo, my favorite, Lancome Monsieur Big and their lash primer. You can pick that up anytime. For lips, you can still pick these 2 items up, but the gloss is limited edition and comes in a kit. The liner, the lip bar, straight no chaser. The purple liner, beautiful. You can pick this up anytime because it's permanent. But the gloss I topped it off with is with their Glamaholic collab. This is in the shade Stink Pink. In my previous video, I'll leave that right here. I did an unboxing of that collab here. I got her sitting right here on the side of me, honey. It is a 3-piece set, and I am using the pink gloss from there. Once again, that is Stink Pink. But I had to come back, and I'm sitting back around looking like, okay, Torrence, what else do we have to do? Lower lash line. And I'm going to go ahead and keep that simple. The same 2 shades that we used on the crease on the upper lids, we're going to use that on the lower lash line. So we're going to take a larger pencil brush in the shade Atlas here. We're going to start it off with that. Then to finish it off, we're going to go into this shade here, PA02, with a smaller pencil brush, and we're going to buff that out afterwards. And just to be on the safe side, we're going to knock off our excess, start on the outer end, and I just want to get a little color going. This is going to help make that purple shade blend a little bit easier. And you want to take that all the way to the front. Not even going to do a second layer of it on the lower half because my crease on the upper half is much more hooded, and so it takes a lot more building. On the lower half, I'd rather keep things nice and soft so it don't look like I'm sleepy or been punched in the eye. Now for PA02, dark color, so you want to take your time and go very slow because smudging a dark color on the lower lash line can be a lot harder to fix than doing it on the top. And this color is building and blending beautifully. Want to go from the inner half and buff out. And we're once again only going to do 1 layer because I don't want things to be too dark and turn out looking bruised on the lower half. See how that 1 layer on this side got this side looking way darker than this side. Be right back. To help finish off the lower lash line, we're going to take that smaller pencil brush again and this shade here, 0603, and we're going to buff that out on the lower lash line. We're going to start very small and then we're going to try to work our way out to see how much we like it. And with this shade, just to help bring a little brightness, I'm going to put it right here in the center of the lower lash line. And baby, even with a pencil brush, this is building beautifully. And I'm going to keep that in the center third. We're going to leave the inner and outer third available so to give a slight halo effect on the lower lash line. I'm not sure if it's going to pick up on camera, But in person, you can definitely see that multicolored reflect that's in that shadow. And it's giving my eye a much more wider look on this side than it is on this side. I'm not sure if that's gonna translate, but we're gonna do this on the other side. You all already know I'm gonna keep it real with y'all every time. With this shade here, Passport, you can look at it from the pan and tell that it'll go on much better with a finger or a silicone applicator. It has an extremely high reflect to it, but because a silicone applicator isn't gonna allow me to get right there on the inner corner, we're gonna take our natural hairbrush and we're just gonna press it right here. I expect the shine to be like on 10. The thing is, I'm worried about whether the pigmentation is gonna come through on that first application, and it doesn't look like it's gonna be quite 100% bam. Like, you all can see that there truly, and I can see it in person, but I truly believe that second layer, yep, is what's gonna really help it shine and really help it to stand out. And I'm gonna help carry it over just a tiny bit onto the lid. Okay, yeah, that's much better. And because that's either a multi-chrome or a dual chrome, it looks like it's shifting from like a slight light gold to maybe even a yellow gold green. She's beautiful, but I think in person, she's giving you way more than what you would get on camera. And I believe this shade here will probably be much prettier as a lid topper or as a straight up lid shade. But because it's the brightest one here, I wanted to make sure I went ahead and used that for my inner corner and my brows instead of my face highlighter. Because I want to see, like, watch this. You can see how those reflects are beautiful in person. And I don't think the camera is going to pick up on that. This shade here, Passport, is much, much prettier in person. All right, you guys, we're finished with the look, and now it's time to grab your sprays to set everything, because you know I'm about to grab mine. Fix Plus to give us a glowy do. All nighter so things will last all day. Cheap fan, expensive breeze, good times. I'm going to give this a few moments to dry and I'll be back to show you all the final look. And this is the final look. I want to go ahead and give you all a full face view before I give you all my thoughts on this particular look. And I'm here to tell you all, honey, Adept Cosmetics don't play with the purples. If you all remember my video, I believe it's the Nihydran palette. I'll leave that video linked right here above. The first time I tried out their purples, I instantly said, these are my new favorite purples, and I'm here to tell you, Heather and Adept then added to the collection. The pros and cons of just this particular look, I will tell you. If you are going in, the mattes are absolutely beautiful. So far with Adept Cosmetics, I've always said the shimmers, the shimmers, the shimmers, the shimmers. With this palette, it seemed like they done did something nice and extra because it seemed like the mattes are getting better and better, and now they up to on par with these shimmers. Now I ain't gonna lie, some shimmers did come off a little better than others. I would say if you are going to use the shade 0603 or Passport, for me personally, I think those shades will look much better as a lid shade. I do have it here as an inner corner and a lower lash line highlight. In person, you can see those beautifully. On camera, they may not translate as well, but if you are somebody who does not mind using your fingers, I'm someone who can't, you'll absolutely love this palette. Because with me, these nails being that long, I can go ahead and get it right here on the center. If I try to get it right there on the inner corner, that nail gonna stop it. It's not gonna let that happen. But silicone applicator, what she got? She your best friend if you want to get the job done really, really quickly. If you're like me, you don't mind taking a little time so you can get precise placement and get a better blend, go ahead with your brushes. But I'm telling you all, I've used 6 shades so far. I'm excited to see what these other 6 gonna look like. So let's go ahead and get into that next look, honey, because I'm feeling fabulous and I want to see what that purple gonna look like compared to these greens. So let's go ahead and get into it. All right, you guys, time for look number 2. And I must admit, I stopped, looked at the footage over the past few days and realized my lighting isn't quite the way I wanted it to be. So I've adjusted things since the last time I recorded look number 1. And today I might seem a little closer, and honestly, I believe this view is a little better. But we talking long enough because I got places to be. Heatheraustin, look number 2, let's get into it. You already know, all tools and products, description bar below. I start off with my mattes. And today we got to use those other 6 shades we never used before. So we're going to start off with our largest, fluffiest blending brush. This shade here, Mythology, we're going to use this as a transition. So let's go ahead and get into it. Honey, y'all know greens are my favorites. We're going to tap this off, honey. We're going to get into it. I can't wait. Considering how beautiful that last look was, I'm expecting nothing but beauty. And look at that. Honey, first layer, nice and light, just to make sure my blend is beautiful, which you already know. I like to go in with a second layer to get my pigmentation. But because I have hooded eyes, honey, I always like to work with my crease first, then go in and do my lids. She's blending beautifully. And I want to take this up nice and high, because you know that next green going to be a little dark. Diffuse those edges, and we're going to go in one more time. Personally, yeah, I'm going to still knock it off. I was about to say I wasn't going to tap it off just to get as much as I can, but I'm like, we got another green coming. Forgot this the transition shade. Okay. Baby, just this one color alone already lets me know I'm going to have a good day. I know many people see, you know, pukey, grungy green like this and get turned off. I get truly excited. Just like with Heather, my dream palette would have a shade just like this in it. Okay, nice and beautiful. You can already see what type of mood we going for, so I'll be right back after I do this on the other side. And because I have hooded eyes, I love dark crease shades, so we're going to take this shade here, Magnolia, with a smaller blending brush, and we're going to deepen up our crease and our outer V. Tap off excess as usual. Start on the lowest outermost point of the eye and work slowly. Shades like this, you want to worry about your blend first, and then you can go back and build later. Baby, and she even more pigmented than I expected, so really take your time and knock her off. I'm loving the fact that she's pigmented because I know how to blend. If you're not sure about your blending, take your time. I'm not experiencing any patchiness or anything, so she will be easy to blend. But if you're not used to dark colors, honey, she will shock you. See, this is just one light layer that I plan on building on. But first, we want to raise our brush just a little bit, soften those edges. And you see how much color we got from just one layer here? I personally know I want to go in with another layer just to make sure everything is opaque. But you can see how we still have that gradient up because we did our transition first. So let me go in, really tap this brush off hard, and do one more layer really low in the eye. And I want to go back in just the tiniest bit more. I want the outer half to be slightly deeper than the inner half. So we're going to blend this on the outer half and then do the outer V. I'm going to take that same brush and just press it. Let's see if pressing it one more time will give me more pigmentation, and it does. So if you have like a fair medium light complexion, you may only have to do that once in the outer V. You tan dark deep like myself, you might want to do that outer V twice. Be right back after I do this on this side. You already know, honey, time to cut our crease. NYX glitter primer, gotta get me some. Gonna squirt this on the back of my hand before I grab my Morphe brush. You know, I like me a tiny little brush even though I have huge eyes. And we're gonna cut our crease. I personally want to be a little extra today, so we're gonna cut ahead of our lid. We're gonna put our base down first. And I don't know why, even when I want to cut in front of my lid, I still somehow always make the cut crease right there where it stops. And then I go back in and make the crease in front of it. I have no idea why. I like to do this here. One brush width of this Morphe brush and then connect it. So she's gonna be a little more dramatic than a traditional cut crease. And I don't know what I just did, but now my eye wanna start watering. I ain't poked myself in the eye or nothing. Okay, we're gonna get this eye to stop watering. We'll be back after we do both of these. Okay, honey, we are back. I'm not sure what was going on. I literally just grabbed a small piece of paper towel, it was straight gone, so quick fluke, we not gonna worry about it. Time to go ahead and get to these lids. We didn't cut things dramatically. I got plenty of space. So, first off on the inner half, video chat. The way that color is jumping in the light, I got to try it. Then I'm like, you know what, Torrence? While we playing with colors that's gonna shift and jump in the light, for the outer for the outer half of the lid, we're gonna come over here to Smith because she doing the same thing. I'm telling you, those two colors been jumping out at me, and now it's time to see what they're working with. So let's go ahead and grab ourselves a brush. Okay, and I got to be careful because I just accidentally picked up a little too much. So if I get some fallout, that is my fault. But baby, look at that color. And yeah, there go that one big dollop that I accidentally picked up too much of. We're gonna try to spread her instead of getting her to fall. Baby, I know y'all can see that shine from here. I got this one little piece here that I accidentally picked up. We're gonna try to spread that out with a silicone applicator. Okay, this shade here, I am telling y'all, is absolutely beautiful. I am not the biggest fan of pinks or oranges, but this looked like a peach to gold to pink shift. I know y'all see that on camera, honey. I'm just sitting here looking at it like, baby, I was not expecting that. We'll be right back after we do this on the other side. Baby, 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 let me tell you. This shade here, Smith, after Swatches, I think this was the most exciting shade I wanted to see. Before Swatches, I think it was that shade Scrubs from the last tutorial. But we're going to go ahead and see what she is about, honey. Ooh, wee. The way that green just came through. Now what I want to do is try to get it right here in this outer V first, and then I'm going to blend it toward the front to give me a seamless look. I want those two colors to look like they transform from one shade to the next, but I'd rather blend it toward the front than the back where my outer V work is. Look at that. On this side, look at that gradient, baby. Oh my goodness. And the shift from the light and that color change makes it look even more seamless and beautiful. Baby, I'm feeling like a toucan just ready to fly off into a tropical breeze. Be right back. Honey, tell me I'm not already feeling this. You already know. About to cut away, finish off the face. When we come back, I'm going to show you how we're going to finish off the lower lash line. What can I say, honey? I be trying to tell myself, hold off. Just be subtle, be natural, don't go over the top. As you can see, that did not happen today either, honey. Just started going through my collection, finding old stuff I ain't used either in a while or ever. Got in my feelings like, you know what, Torrence? It's just makeup. Do it. So let me tell y'all about some of the stuff I used off camera. First off, I'm not sure if I've ever used this, but I bought it simply because it was in a heart-shaped pan. This is the ColourPop and Powerpuff Girls powder blush in the shade Fighting Crime. This color is so pigmented and so dark, I never had intentions on using it. When I tell you, took my brush, literally one tap, knocked it off, and just kept going and going back and forth, because I'm not sure if you all can see it, but if I would have went any further than this, that would have looked like a bruise on my cheek. This color here, she not for me, but I wanted something in my collection from this collection. I have her. Will I use it again? Probably not, but she cute and I have her. For highlighter, y'all know my favorite, at least in the top 3, my MAC Extra Dimension Skin Finish in Oh Darling. My friend Keisha, hey Keisha, just want to show you why I'm using her. Got me the MAC Holiday Palette for Christmas. This was the Step Bright Up Extra Dimension Skin Finish in the shade Light. Comes with 3 different colors here, and I'm using this middle shade here called Freeze. This one has a slight yellow undertone to it, but I'm here to tell you, this may be the sheerest MAC highlighter I've ever used, to the point where it's almost universally flattering. Like, you can clearly tell there is a glow on my cheek, no doubt about it. But when I tell you, I could take this brush, swirl, 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 and when I come here, I don't get that stripe right there that lets me know I'm wearing highlighter. This is such a sheer highlighter that almost anybody can wear it. Anybody can just layer it. And I don't have to worry about going over the top. So on those days I really want a no makeup type of day, I think she gonna be the highlighter I'm gonna go for, because my Oh Darling, she way too shiny, has way too much pigment to her, but I love her. So we have that going. On the eyes, kept it basic. My Monsieur Big Lancome Duo, I use this almost every day. For the lower lash line, wanted something else limited edition, so this is the ColourPop and Raw Beauty Christie eyeliner in the shade Marigold. Have that on the lower lash line just to give me a little more brightness, because I know I'm going to go in with darker matte shades, and I want something that's not going to close my eyes off. For the lips, since we was already playing with limited edition, discontinued items, I'm like, you know what? Go ahead. These are the Fenty Beauty Plush Matte Lipsticks in the shades Midnight Wasabi. Use that as a liner. That's this green one here. Just take your bullet lipstick from the side. Just go around the edges. Whoop, whoop. I ain't gonna lie. This Midnight Wasabi, she cute if you just putting her straight on. If you try to blend or buff her out, she basically disappears. Not sure if that's because this is an older lipstick that's been discontinued, or if that's the way the formula always was, but I ain't worried about it. But this orange one here, Saucy, y'all know I'm not a fan of oranges, but this, and it's another orange lipstick from Juvia's Place that I have. 2 of my absolute favorites. She filled her in. I just wanted something to go with the lips because I had that orange ring going on. I was going to take it even a step further and put a yellow gloss on top of it, but I'm like, you know what, Torrence, you already doing too much. Lay off of it, sit back, come back, finish off the eyes, and we can keep going from there. So, don't think it's much left. Anything else that I did not mention will be in the description bar below, but we still have eyes to finish, because this here, lower lash line, ain't enough for me. So, we're going to go back into our palette here, and we're just going to repeat on the bottom what we did on the top. We're going to take a larger pencil brush, use this shade here, Mythology. Going to buff that out first. Then we're going to take a smaller pencil brush for more depth and dimension, and use this shade here, Magnolia, and we're going to buff that out afterwards. And because we already know this color is beautiful, start from the outer end, and we're going to buff over. This shade isn't too dark, so I would not mind doing 2 layers of this. But that next color, that darker green, we are definitely only going to do 1 layer of that one. And just to make sure this is completely covered, I'm going to go in from the front this time. That's really helping accentuate that yellow liner I have and make my under eye pop, pop, pop. Now we're going to go in with the shade Magnolia. Want to make sure we knock off that excess, because remember, that shade was very pigmented, and we're going to work really slow, honey. Super slow, close to the lash line, and build her up. We need just enough to make that area look slightly darker. I'm taking just the tiniest bit for this front part. Okay, and that's just enough to give me some smoke and dimension to my lower lash line, but we don't want to take that too far, and then we have green all the way down here and we look sick. Be right back after I do this on the other side. Alright, now we only have 2 shades left that we have not used, and I want to make sure that I can get them both going. So excited here. We're going to use this as an inner corner highlight simply because I believe that'll be bright enough on top of the orange. Then we're going to take this shade here, Austin, and use that as a brow bone highlight. I'm quite sure that's a topper shade that will probably look better over top of these, but I love a sparkly underbrow highlight. It may not be everybody's cup of tea, but for me it's very beautiful, and it'll give me a way to test out all 6 shades. So let's go ahead and get it done. I'm going to turn this to the side so you all can see how much impact we're going to get from this shade here. I'm going to put that right there. Oh yeah. And she's a very sparkly shade too. See if that's showing up on camera. Baby, she's showing up better on camera than I thought she would. I ain't gonna lie to you, because I'm like, oh, she pretty in person. She's gorgeous on camera. Look at this side compared to that side. Oh, honey, you didn't tell me she was gonna do all of that. Just cleaning my brush off on the back of my hand now. I want to make sure. And we're going to switch it over to the other side and grab a little bit of Hey Y'all. And baby, she picks up even better. We're going to be slightly more careful with the shade because underneath the brow there isn't much to hide. There isn't much to cover this. And if the reflex in this, which looks like it may have a slight green or blue hue to it, comes off as too pigmented, it may not give a lifting effect. We want to spread those and share some of those sparkles. Yeah, this is definitely a shade that will make a much better topper shade or lid shade, but I wanted to get them all going. But the one thing I can admit is those sparkles blend beautifully. Most time you get a sparkly shade, and once you put those down, they stuck wherever you put them at. I want to see if, oh yeah, that's giving you something on camera. Has multicolored reflex in it. I'm seeing some slight pink ones now too that I'm giving it a chance to settle. Trying to see if you all can, yeah, you can see that right there on camera. Okay, okay, okay. Now that I'm satisfied, it's time to set everything. So go ahead and grab your sprays because you know I'm about to grab mine. Fix Plus to give us a glowy do. All Nighter so things will last all day. Cheap Fan, Expensive Breeze, Good Times. I'm gonna give this a few more moments to dry and I'll be back to give you all my final thoughts. And this is the final look. I want to go ahead, give you all a full face view of things before I give you all my final thoughts. And I'm here to tell you all, Adept has done it again, honey. Baby, look at me. The fact that this second look is greens, let's get into it. The mattes, like I already said before in the first one, they seem to have gotten better since when they first started. I don't know what they did to them, but for me personally, it seems like they build and blend a little better than they used to. With these new shimmers, I'm going to be straight up forward and honest with you. These 2 purple shades, Scrubs and Hey Y'all, to me, Personally, I feel as if they apply better with a finger or silicone applicator. You're going to get full opacity, full shine in one coat, one swipe. With me having longer nails and not having the ability to do so, I personally prefer brushes. With a brush, you can get that full opacity, full blend with 2 layers. It's just I find it a little more difficult to pick up with natural hair brushes. How does it work with synthetic brushes? I wouldn't know because I haven't tested it with that. But these greens, it don't matter whether you're using a silicone applicator, your finger, as you saw with the swatches, or with a brush, you're going to get it straight up. It's going to come through. Just being open, just being honest, if I had to say, Torrence, which is your absolute most favorite shade in the palette and your least favorite color, I'm going to have to say for favorite, I thought it was going to be Smith just because I'm the type of person who loves a green, but video chat, the way that shines, the way that reflects, y'all know I'm not the biggest fans of any shade of orange, but that is gorgeous the way she's flipping in the pan. If I just had to say Torrence, a least favorite shade just for me, I'm personally gonna go with Hey Y'all. Just because if I could have a purple, and I look at it as I can have one that's much more sheer like this, or much more full impactful color like Scrubs, it's like, okay, why would I come to Hey Y'all, which I feel as if it's in the middle? Passport has much more shine to me. Scrubs has much more of a reflect. So I personally, Hey Y'all, there's nothing wrong with it besides the fact it takes 2 layers with a natural hair brush. It's only one with the finger, but I just see myself going, if I want a straight up green, dark one here, light one here, multi-chrome here. With the purples, light one here, the dark one is a multi-chrome, so it's like, hey y'all, just don't need them. All formats are beautiful. They're completely different colors. I personally believe you can wear any or all 4 of those mattes at the same time and have no issues. But other than that, I think this palette is absolutely beautiful. There aren't any actual duds in the palette. It's just me personally, I could just go without Hey Y'all. The only thing that could have made this palette like perfect, you don't need to do anything with it to change it, I would have just taken Hey Y'all and made her either a really dark brown or a dark black just so I could pull off a true matte neutral smoky eye, which is one of my favorites. But other than that, this palette is absolutely stunning. So basically at the end of the day, what I'm saying is I completely recommend this palette. She is absolutely stunning. If you are somebody who likes purples and greens, this is the palette for you. When I think of colorful eyeshadows, purples are my favorites after greens. Y'all know I go green, black, brown. Those are just the way I like things. This color here, she's stunning. I personally wish this lip will hurry up and ombre out, but I am going to be wearing a mask, so they're not even going to see this part. But tell me, honey, she don't look fabulous just like this. When I head out to physical therapy, honey, everybody going to be looking at, oh, baby, what's going on? Look at that makeup. You looking fabulous. Too bad they ain't even going to be able to get to enjoy this ombre lip. But we've talked enough in this video, honey. I hope you all truly did enjoy this tutorial. If you did, make sure you give this video a thumbs up. Also, make sure you are subscribed to the channel because I have new content coming out. Please let me know if you all have picked up this palette or if you have intentions on picking it up because it is fabulous. I'll make sure I leave Heather Austin's channel right here above so you can check out her channel and her reveal of this palette. I'm someone who's been watching Heather for at least a year, if not 2. So when Adept Cosmetics came out and said they were going to do a collab, it was no doubt in my mind who it was going to be with. I'm like, it's like Juvia's Place telling me who was going to be their first collab. If it was anybody besides Fumi, I would have helped Riot because I'm like, y'all know y'all was wrong for that. But Adept came through for the girls. And now for the most exciting part of the video, you all can win your own Heather Austin palette as well as the Plain Jane Remastered from Adept Cosmetics. I'm giving away both palettes starting today. All you have to do is be subscribed to the channel and leave me a comment down below. You can say what your favorite palette is. You can say what your favorite shade is. You can say you didn't like any of the shades. It's all up to you. But you gotta make sure if you want to win, you have to be subscribed and you have to leave a comment down below. I will be checking. We'll make sure we post that video of us picking a winner. I'm not 100% sure. I do believe that they said they will be restocking this palette on Friday the 6th. So just to make sure that no one has to be confused or anything, I will be picking a winner on Thursday the 5th to make sure that the winner can be notified so they don't go out and buy this palette on their own. And please understand, there's more than just these two palettes in the giveaway. I also have a bunch of giveaways, a bunch of other things from different other brands. I'm gonna try to do another video to update you all on everything that will be in that giveaway, but for sure, the Heather Austin and the Plain Jane Remastered will be in that. Once again, be subscribed, leave a comment down below, and that's all you have to do to win. So with nothing else, I hope you all did enjoy this video. If you really did, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Also, make sure you all check out Heather Austin's channel because she is absolutely amazing. I don't know where she finds all the time in the day to upload as often as she does, because honey, I be struggling with trying to keep my 3 videos. She be doing 4, 5, 6 sometime, and I be sitting back like, yes, come through, girl, for the content creators. But I've been talking long enough. We need to wrap this video up. So with nothing else, I hope you all remember to practice, continue to stay blessed, and until next time, goodbye, YouTube.